Who am I? I am your manly mentor. I am your hair loss daddy. And I am in your face. I am back in a big way. I'm going to read whatever the next comment showed up today. No rehearsal, here we go. Okay, I made a video called Receding Hairline with Long Hair, Thor versus Loki. And what I explained is, in the Marvel Universe, Thor has a perfect hairline and a thick head of hair, and he has the long hair. Meanwhile, Loki has a hairline kind of like mine. His hair's not as thick, but they both have the same hairstyle, and I was comparing that. So someone who goes by the name of President Andrew Jackson had this simple comment, quote, "I have very thick hair. Am I less likely to go bald?" To which I responded, and I had said, yes, especially if you have a small forehead. So let's talk about this. I don't know, when you're 18, for example, let's just go with that age. 18, if you can look at the mirror and see you have a smaller forehead and your hair is noticeably thick, that's a good indication you won't be going bald soon. See, the size of your forehead totally matters. Yes, how thick your hair totally matters. And somebody had recently left a comment, I thought it was great, saying that the thickness of your hair at age 35 is an indication of whether you're going to be going bald. In the same way I've always said, yeah, that pretty much your hair loss situation at 35 is going to determine that. But what they said in the comment, they said, but your hair on top, since that tends to be thin first, you look at that and that's the future of the rest of your hair as far as all that goes. So I definitely believe that having thick hair is a good indicator of if you're gonna go bald, but I've also known men who had really thick curly hair and just went bald on top. So I mean, there are exceptions to that. It's all about how thick your hair is on top. But specifically, the size of your forehead matters. Now granted, I have a tall forehead, and I guess I always have. The only time I didn't have a tall forehead when I was like 10 years old, and I had a small, like rounded off hairline and forehead like that. But I mean, since I'd even say a teenager, no one would say I have a small forehead. I had a taller forehead. So as far as me, I mean, my hair was thick when I was younger, but my forehead's been taller. The tall forehead is a good way to predict. It's interesting because when you look at men who are in their 50s and 60s and so on that kept all their hair, you can also look to see that they always had specifically low hairlines. Like, it was like, for me, I'm like, this is the middle of my head. But there's other guys who, that's where their hairline starts. And so how low your hairline is going to be something you need to consider in that. So yeah, but I'd say if your hair is thick and you've got a low forehead, chances are you won't be going bald. But I'm Nick Shell, and therefore I remind everybody, but it has more to do with, in addition to that, whether you could grow a full connected beard by your 18th birthday. That means you're more likely to go bald. So if you can't do that and you're struggling to grow body hair, in addition to having the thick hair on your head, because it's often the opposite. Those of us who have thick body hair are less likely to have thick hair to keep up here. So we have to keep that in mind as well. And of course, I always remind everybody, the photo of yourself at age 1 is a projection of you at age 35. So there you go. There's my answer. Your comments belong here.